The field of Republicans taking on Donald Trump for the nomination for next year's US presidential election is growing rapidly. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott has filed his paperwork ahead of a formal announcement this week. That means Florida Governor Ron DeSantis could be right behind him. A favourite against Trump, the culture war warrior has found himself, though, embroiled in a stoush with Disney that's threatening to upend his campaign before it even begins. Our Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen filed this report from Orlando, Florida.
The 2024 presidential election might feel far away, but the race starts now. And the polling shows Donald Trump is winning.
I think he's a fighter, so I think I'd like to see him run one more time.
While national polls tell one story, it always comes down to swing states. And one matters now more than ever.
In Florida, we deliver big victories every single day.
Florida is usually an essential state for anyone to pick up if they want to be president of the United States. But right now, it's the center of the Republican universe. Donald Trump is leading all the polls as the frontrunner for declared candidates. Ron DeSantis hasn't yet declared his intentions to run, but he's been giving Donald Trump a run for his money.
If we cast ballots today, it'll be Trump. But a week, a month is an eternity in politics.
Ron DeSantis was a breakout political star of the COVID pandemic. He's been pushing through a series of conservative-pleasing laws focused on immigration and gender and diversity discussions in schools. But a stoush with Disney is seeing him drag in the polls. Here in Central Florida, Disney employs 75,000 people. They self-govern the area called the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which essentially acts as its own fiefdom. Disney pays for its own services like the fire department and receives huge tax breaks in return. Ron DeSantis has been fighting the corporate behemoth on multiple fronts.
You have companies like a Disney that are going to say and criticize parents' rights. They're going to criticize the fact that we don't want transgenderism in kindergarten and first grade classrooms. If that's the hill that they're going to die on.
And even taking on what is the kind of the 800-pound gorilla, King Kong here in Florida, which is Disney, I think people see DeSantis as a fighter and someone who's fighting for traditional values.
Disney is fighting back. On the eve of Ron DeSantis' anticipated campaign launch, the corporation just pulled a project worth 1.5 billion Australian dollars, along with the 2,000 jobs that went with it.
I'm not for Disney, I'm for DeSantis and stuff. Shame on Disney for doing what they're doing.
Debbie Fleischman is a local retail worker who lives just outside the land controlled by Disney in Celebration Village.
Who would you rather see run for president, DeSantis or Trump?
Trump, because I don't want to lose DeSantis as a governor and stuff, so it'd be great to have Trump as a president.
You're gonna be surprised. I voted for Biden, but now I changed my mind.
Okay, why did you change your mind?
Because the economic is go down, and now if he's gonna run for the 2024, for sure I will support Trump.
One of the measures being used to compare Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis as prospective nominees is who can gather the most endorsements from high-profile Republicans in Florida. Right now, Donald Trump is well outstripping Ron DeSantis on that measure, but some argue it's not a fair fight until Ron DeSantis formally enters the race.
So I think endorsements are powerful, but they're not the end-all be-all. The voters are, and that's what the difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party is, that we have a closed primary, we want people to vote and to exercise their right to choose who they think is the best candidate.
Erin Huntley will be in charge of rallying primary voters to cast a ballot. No presidential candidate fares well if they can't win their own state.
When it comes to the rank and file membership, how much are people talking about the fact that Trump's really started attacking DeSantis?
They talk about it. He's great. He's very business oriented and he's on mission, which I really just admire about him.
So it might just be the voters here that decide who gets knocked out of the race and who's on the ballot in 2024.
Once he announces, this gets very real very fast, and then you have several months before anyone really casts a ballot of significance. So I think we're going to be watching.
Annalise Nielsen, Sky News, Orlando, Florida.